Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your #1 source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Some hotter days ahead for sure. We'll show you just how high the heat index is going to get and which days may have some heat advisories issued. Coming up.
Highway Patrol investigation. Troopers were on the scene of an overnight crash. What we've been able to piece together from the scene.
And Chantal response. Hillsborough is facing a heavy cost for cleanup. The progress people there are making after the damaging floods. But the talks continue today about how to pay for all of that cleanup. It is multi-million-dollar, big effort. I'm Jeff Hogan. Thanks for making us part of your Wednesday here.
And I'm Renee Chu. Welcome to your Wednesday. It's a new day and a different story weather-wise today than yesterday, at least for the start of our morning. Look at this beautiful sunrise and no rain in sight.
I feel like just kind of guiding people toward the sunrise here at the airport. That's just a gorgeous shot. Cotton candy sky and much different view than what we saw 24 hours ago when there were a ton of storms right around the airport. Currently 79. My goodness, it's warm out there. Garner, Knightdale, Rollsville, Wake Forest, Durham, and Clayton all at 75 degrees as you step out the door. Maybe trying to cool off a little bit this afternoon. Hopefully you have some time to get in the pool. Temperatures upper 80s and lower 90s. Storm chances after 11 o'clock this morning. Most of these are going to be confined to the coastal plain and the Sandhills. Storm chance in terms of the tropics, 40% right along the Gulf Coast. That has not changed since yesterday morning. If it does change, however, you'll be the first to know by downloading the free WRAL weather app. Ken?
All right, Chris, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We got a couple of incidents we want to bring your attention to. First, in Garner, this crash on Highway 401 in the eastbound lane near Legend Road. There's a Citgo gas station right there at that intersection, if you're familiar. Depending on whether or not you're in a rush this morning, because we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown in those eastbound lanes near that crash site, you might want to use Old Stage Road as an alternate route. A little closer to Raleigh, we've got this crash. Right now, it's being reported as a crash with injuries. Initially, it was just a minor crash. Now it's on I-440 right near at Six Forks Road near the Beltline at North Hills. But we're not seeing any delays in that area. We are seeing some delays, congestion building in this construction zone at I-40 and Fayetteville Road. This is near the Streets at South Point exit. You're coming in from Chapel Hill, you're probably looking at a 3 to 5 minute delay. You're getting ready to head out the door because of these changing traffic conditions. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Breaking news. We are working to learn more about a chase through Wake and Johnston counties last night. WRAL's Ali Calabar breaks down what we know so far.
Yes, well, we saw State Highway Patrol at the scene. They tell us they are leading this investigation. Here's what we know so far. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker just before midnight. You can see a Hyundai car being taken away on a tow truck. The front window is shattered. There are multiple officers from Wake and Johnston counties on the scene. Police radio traffic from Broadcastify shows the chase went on for about 30 minutes. Again, it started in Wake County and possibly ended on Covered Bridge Road and Pritchard Road. We have reached out to State Highway Patrol throughout the night. We are working to find out what led up to this chase, if there were any injuries, as well as if anybody got arrested. We're going to keep you updated throughout the morning. Reporting in Raleigh, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
And happening today in Hillsborough, leaders there are expected to discuss their budget plans for recovery efforts after flooding from Chantal left behind extensive damage across Orange County. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live in Hillsborough this morning to talk about where that situation stands now after more than a week of cleanup efforts. Kelsey.
Yes, Jeff, tonight town leaders here in Hillsborough will tackle some tough questions about how to pay for all of this storm damage. So right now we are outside of Eno Arts Mill Gallery in Hillsborough, and you can see that huge fan here behind me that is clearing out any moisture or taking any air out of the building from all of the flooding damage. But we'll show you some video now, the immediate aftermath of Chantal. Orange County officials say repairs could cost more than $30 million. Hillsborough's river pump station flooded during the storm, and that sent 75% of the storm's sewage spilling into the Eno River. FEMA awarded Hillsborough $5.81 million to move the pump station out of a flood hazard area. Those funds came from a program called Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities. But back in April, the Trump administration cut the program, calling it wasteful and ineffective. Town leaders say missing that money has now set them back at least 6 to 8 months. Orange County's Emergency Services Director says they're working on getting some funding from the state, but in the meantime, town leaders in Hillsborough will meet tonight at 7 to talk about what they have to work with in their budget. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Hillsborough.
And WRAL will continue to follow the recovery efforts in Orange County and the push for funding. Be sure to tune into WRAL News this evening starting at 4 p.m.
Chris Lovingood here in the WRAL Live Center. Got a breaking update from overnight through the Associated Press. 20 Palestinians were killed at a Gaza aid distribution site. And this is coming from an American organization which Israel backs. It's called the Gaza Humanitarian Fund. They say that 19 people were trampled in a stampede, and then one person was actually stabbed to death at this humanitarian aid site. Now, the organization is accusing Hamas of spreading misinformation that led to that violence, but they didn't offer any kind of evidence to prove this. These deaths happened not long after Israeli airstrikes killed 41 people, including 11 children, and just showing another escalation point in the conflict between Israel and Hamas.
Chris, thank you. Activists are slamming Kinston's police force. It all goes back to a video showing an officer punching an 18-year-old multiple times while trying to make an arrest Sunday. That video is hard to watch. The video was filmed by a bystander. According to Kinston PD, the teen was identified as a possible suspect in a breaking and entering case and was refusing to stop when directed. Activists who spoke at Kinston City Council last night say this is part of a years-long problem at the department.
So there seems to be a pattern.
Kinston Police Department has gone unchecked for far too long.
What's that, Trusty?
WRAL asked former Wake County Sheriff Donnie Harrison to take a closer look at the video. He tells WRAL it's hard to tell from the video whether the officer involved was justified in his use of force. However, Harrison says there are times when an officer may need to use a punch to restrain someone.
New court documents show a Harnett County man shot and killed his ex-girlfriend's dog out of spite. 19-year-old Marco De La Cruz is charged with 1 count of cruelty to animals. Documents show he and his girlfriend had recently broke up. He returned to the home in June to get his things, and that's when he's accused of picking up the dog and shooting it several times. De La Cruz will be back in court at the end of the month.
A Fayetteville teacher is accused of having an inappropriate relationship with the student. 37-year-old Dominic Hunter is charged with taking indecent liberties. Investigators say it happened in 2015 at the Howard Learning Academy, which is known as Ramsey Street Alternative School. The student was attending that school at the time. Hunter is currently out on bond.
It's been a wet start to our July, and now people are getting ready for more storms. This footage is from Person County. Here it shows roads underwater. This was last night. Trees were uprooted on one Durham County farm, narrowly missing farm animals in an enclosure there. That family is worried with more weather on the way. This is going to happen again.
It's very wooded all around here. Any of these trees could be next, and I'd much rather fall on the barn than their house, but, I'm a little concerned, but praying for the best that nothing will happen.
So far in July, 9 out of 15 days have had rainfall that has led to flooding and other storm damage.
The National Weather Service says it's already issued a record number of flash flood warnings this year. The agency has issued more than 3,000 of them nationwide. That's the highest number since 1986, when the warnings were first tallied. Roughly 170 were issued Sunday and Monday. Officials also say flash flood emergencies are noticeably higher this year compared to last year.
This fall's flu vaccine is shipping across the nation from a facility right here in Wake County. WRAL learns CSL Seqirus has already started sending doses to healthcare providers. The company ships more than 60 million doses of the vaccine per year. Flu season officially starts in October. Last year was considered the worst flu season in 15 years. Vaccination rates have dropped since the pandemic.
WakeMed is getting the green light to expand again, this time in Fuquay Arena. The state approved a $38 million outpatient facility on Main Street. This will include an emergency department, lab services, a pharmacy, and 12 treatment rooms. The facility will create more emergency capacity in the WakeMed system. It will serve the growing 65 and older population in southern Wake and Harnett counties. This will be WakeMed's 5th healthplex. It could open as soon as October 2027.
Give you a live look right now. RDU International Airport this morning. The Airport Authority has received nearly $25 million for infrastructure upgrades, and that includes widening John Brantley Boulevard to make pickups and drop-offs easier. This is part of the plan for the airport it's already working on to extend the road to make it safer. The money is part of the Department of Transportation's nearly $500 million grant.
Cumberland County Schools year-round students return to the classroom today for a new school year, and that includes students at E.E. Miller Elementary and Chestnut Middle and Reed Ross Classical Middle and High Schools. A reminder for Cumberland County drivers: slow down in school zones and always stop for school buses.
10 after 6 right now on your Wednesday, and straight ahead, a beloved bookstore is returning.
As painful as it was, I'm grateful that we closed because it gave us the opportunity to reassess what we were going to be up against.
Only on WRAL, where Liberation Station Bookstore is reopening in Raleigh, and the journey to get here.
Dentist on trial. A Colorado man is accused of killing his wife by poisoning her. What prosecutors found in his search history that they say proves his guilt.
And showers and storms today will be a lot more isolated. We'll show you where we stand the best chance. Plus, I'm going to show you the 2 reasons why we've seen such intense flooding in parts of North Carolina. That's coming up in less than 5 minutes.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:14 this morning, we were just doing the story about all the rain that we've seen in parts of the area, Chatham and Orange counties just being 2 of them. And meteorologist Kat Campbell made this graphic to show the 10 to 15 inches seen between Farrington, Hillsborough, and Chapel Hill. So you might be asking, like, what's the deal with this, right? In the red, that's the flow of tropical moisture that we've seen over the past several weeks. The other thing is there's been a lack of upper level wind to actually move these storms. So they just form, they sit, and they dump that tropical moisture. Now today, storm chance is much more isolated after about 10:30, 11 o'clock this morning, most of which will be east of I-95. Today, high temperatures about 88 to 92. Tomorrow, 90 to 96. I'll show you what it'll take for us to see heat advisories issued coming up. Ken?
All right, what's happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center with some congestion building in this construction zone at I-40 and those eastbound lanes near Fayetteville Road. You know, that's near the streets at South Point exit. Right now, if you're coming in from Chapel Hill, you're looking at a 3 to 5 minute delay, so keep that in mind as you head out. Just a couple of incidents dotting our live sensors this morning. A crash on Six Forks Road near the Beltline, and then one on Highway 401 coming in the eastbound lanes from Garner. And coming up in less than 5 minutes, I'll let you know if these 2 incidents will affect the morning commute.
All right, Ken, thanks for that. In other national news we're following, a newly obtained Immigration and Customs Enforcement memo says employees may deport migrants to third countries. It was issued by Acting Director Todd Lyons July 9th. He said the policy was effective immediately. The memo says an officer can deport a person in as little as 6 hours as long as the person is given the chance to talk with an attorney. The policy change comes after a Supreme Court ruling in June allowing the Trump administration to deport immigrants to countries where they have no previous connection.
The Trump administration is cutting back on the number of National Guard troops stationed in Los Angeles after last month's immigration protests. The Pentagon says it is withdrawing 2,000 troops. The National Guard was sent to L.A. to assist law enforcement with large and sometimes violent demonstrations. The decision to deploy the troops faced pushback from city leaders and California Governor Gavin Newsom. 2,000 National Guard members and around 700 Marines are still on duty in L.A. A Colorado dentist accused of fatally poisoning his wife. Dr. James Craig's trial got underway yesterday with dramatic opening statements. Michelle McConaughey here now with what he allegedly searched for online and what the defense is saying.
Renee, prosecutors accused Dr. James Craig of poisoning his wife Angela's protein shakes back in 2023. He has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder and a number of other charges, including soliciting the murder of the lead investigator. His defense acknowledging financial woes, saying that his wife contributed to them, also revealing decades of extramarital relationships, but arguing that doesn't make someone guilty of murder. Prosecutors pointed to a toxicology report that found acute cyanide and arsenic in Angela's autopsy, with an affidavit laying out Craig's purchase of arsenic on Amazon and his online searches, including how many grams of pure arsenic will kill a human. Legal analyst Misty Maris saying the digital evidence in this case is critical.
It's going to come down to this narrative, which is told with the digital evidence, which is irrefutable.
And prosecutors say while Angela received hospital treatment over a 10-day stretch, Craig ordered cyanide to his office and then visited her, while the defense noted that Angela Craig had said she was broken and struggling, implying to the jury that her death may have been a suicide. She was 43 years old. The couple had 6 children. According to jail records, Craig remains in custody.
It's tragic in a lot of ways. Michelle, thank you. A Black-owned children's bookstore in Raleigh is keeping its promise after it closed a year ago last year after facing constant threats. The owner now tells WRAL they plan to reopen, and the location is just as central to this story. Victoria Scott Miller and her husband discovered a need in the Triangle for kids' books featuring children of color. They started selling books out of their trunk and pop-up stores. Before becoming so popular, they moved into a downtown Raleigh location. Just a year after they started, they say they faced such a barrage of racism and threats, they decided to close. Scott Miller says the store is now planning to reopen in a space at Montague Plaza off Rock Quarry Road. That plaza is a 15,000 square foot space dedicated to housing Black-owned businesses. Scott Miller says the location feels like a haven, and the community support has helped them heal.
I'm grateful that we had an opportunity to step back and that we had a community that loves us so much that they allowed us to rest. They allowed us to pause and reimagine what it could look like, not only the bookstore, but then our own personal safety. And so coming back has been that of a revival, honestly.
Liberation Station will reopen on Juneteenth next year, and they have a GoFundMe account to get going, and we have that information for you on our website at WRAL.com.
A very exciting new chapter ahead for Liberation Station. It is 6:19 on your Wednesday morning, and Chris, I suppose at some point we will want to turn the page on this heat, humidity, and daily chance for storms, but not today.
No, not today. And look, North Carolina in mid-July, you expect all three of those things, right? Now, the only chance for showers and storms right now is off toward Morehead City, just to the east of New Bern. Now, you may see a stray shower in areas like Clinton or Salemsburg as we go through the morning. Better chance of scattered storms after about 10 or 11 this morning is more or less going to be geared toward parts of Hoke County like Rayford, toward Fayetteville, Hope Mills, Clinton, maybe even up toward Goldsboro. Most of the storms we see today near and to the east of I-95, taking us into the peak heating of the day, your typical afternoon hours. After sunset, we lose the heat of the day. Therefore, we lose that already limited chance for showers and storms, and the bulk of those are going to be closer to the mountains and the foothills heading into the overnight hours. A much nicer view at Franklinton now than we had 24 hours ago. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. And it is humid out there. You can definitely count on that this time of year. Temperatures midday in the mid to upper 80s, highs this afternoon in the low 90s, kind of a similar feel to yesterday as well. And a similar update regarding the tropics to yesterday. Nothing's changed. 40% chance of development right along the Gulf Coast, and that system's going to meander there for the next several days while high pressure takes care of us. That same area of high pressure is going to build into the eastern U.S. It's going to allow the heat to really build in the plains. We'll feed off of that as well. Just have to watch for a few storm clusters that try to dive in from the northwest heading into the weekend. But the main story will be the heat. National Weather Service calls this a major heat risk, especially for those of us without proper cooling methods. That'll be the case heading into the weekend, potentially into early next week. Thursday, high temps in the mid-90s. And as we head into the weekend, temperatures will really be in the mid-90s as well. We'll see the heat index climbing into the triple digits, too. So hold on another few weeks, and then eventually we'll be asking for this weather back.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. Hey, here's what you can hold on to as you're heading out the door. A couple of incidents really dotting our live traffic sensors this morning. Let's start in Garner. We're seeing some huge delays on Highway 401 in the eastbound lanes because of this crash right here. You might want to use Old Stage Road as an alternate route, depending on where you're coming from down there in the Garner area. A little bit closer to Raleigh, we've got this serious crash on Six Forks Road near the Beltline. We're not seeing any delays in that particular area, but just be mindful of of the police activity in that area. This is beginning to clear. You see them really removing the construction barrels right now, and traffic is beginning to ease on I-40 and Fayetteville Road. We'll keep an eye on that and let you know how that's going to continue to affect your morning commute. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Thanks, Ken. Still ahead, buying secondhand. There are products you should avoid when trying to stretch your dollar. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur shares where you need to be careful while being thrifty.
And scammers stealing your checks, how thieves are getting to your checks, and what to do to protect yourself.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Nothing says summer like a hot dog and baseball game.
Ken Smith here now with What's Trending. Ken, it's a holiday.
Yes, it is. And when you talk about holidays, we're talking National Hot Dog Day today. And everyone knows a hot dog is not complete without toppings. A recent poll highlighting the most popular toppings here in our state. Number 1, mustard, followed by onions. Number 3, ketchup. Coleslaw, number 4. And chili sauce, rounding out the top 5.
Renee in the yellow dress.
But I don't like mustard.
No
I keep it
mustard.
simple. Ketchup only. How about you?
That's the upset of the day. No, I'm going chili, onions, mustard,
Pile it on.
cheese.
Yeah.
All you need is
a whole
mayo, onions, and mustard. That's it.
I like mayo too. All right, morning field trip to Roast Grill.
Exactly. Well, the 2025 MLB All-Star Game happening in Atlanta, making the history books after a comeback from the American League. The 9th inning ended with a 6-6 tie, forcing a first-ever home run swing-off. The National League sent Philly slugger Kyle Schwarber to the plate with the game on the line, and wouldn't you know it, he slugs 3 homers and then winning the mini home run derby.
Fans loved it. They've never done the ending like that, a swing off.
Big fan.
And yeah, they went crazy. It was awesome.
Very exciting.
Good fun. Thanks, Ken. Power outages in Durham. Hundreds of customers are impacted this morning. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker is following the efforts to get the lights back on there, and we'll have a live report for you just ahead.
Chantal's impact. Leaders in Hillsborough are set to discuss the cost of cleanup from last week's devastating flooding, where the community stands in its recovery efforts.
And areas like Hillsborough should see a little bit of a break in the storminess today. Not a break from the heat, though. They'll be in the upper 80s and lower 90s. We also got to talk about the tropics. 40% chance of development in the Gulf. I'll show you why that's not an immediate concern here coming up.